Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. I am your host, Lance Brock. Thank you for tuning in today, right here on Spreaker, or wherever else you are listening. And on today's episode, we're going to real quick talk about a couple things from Raw's episode last night. And I know I talked about it on 360, but just going to go over a couple more things and talk a little bit about Raw 30, the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, taking place next week. Another thing from last night, though, I actually did not mention on 360 Wrestling Fanatic. For some reason, I don't know why. The Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony that is going to be taking place next week. When this was announced on Raw, the Usos announced it. I don't know why I didn't mention it, but in the opening promo, they mentioned it, and they said every generation of the Bloodline will be there. And first, the two that I thought of that would be showing up next week on Raw, Alpha and Sika, they actually have showed up. It was about a couple years or so ago when Roman Reigns was feuding with the Usos a little bit, Jimmy and Jay. They were on an episode of SmackDown around that time to kind of acknowledge Roman. And then I got to thinking that I bet online that a lot of people on the internet are just going to assume that this means The Rock is showing up. Now, I think that is unlikely of happening, especially unannounced. If WWE had The Rock, if they actually got him to agree to show up on Raw next week, I'm sure that would definitely have been announced as soon as they made the deal for him to appear. You would think that is something they would definitely want to promote ahead of time. So I don't think The Rock is going to show up. But we could see his daughter Simone, of course, who is now on NXT. She could make an appearance. Wouldn't even be surprised if The Rock's mom could make an appearance next week. They didn't say wrestlers only. So she could definitely be considered of the Bloodline. She has appeared for WWE many times in the audience and at the Hall of Fame ceremonies. So I wouldn't be surprised if she is on Raw next week. Also, one of the first ones I thought of, Rikishi being the father of the Usos. He would be one of those ones that would be kind of obvious that you would think would be there. Tamina might be there. But like I said, I do not see The Rock showing up. But I wouldn't be surprised if there is a tease about The Rock coming in soon. Maybe they could do this acknowledgement ceremony, and then you could have Roman look around, see who's all there, and he could say, someone is missing, and where's Dwayne? He could talk about how that was disrespectful of him not showing up to acknowledge the tribal chief. And then this could build for something. And then they could have their WrestleMania match this year. The Rock vs. Roman Reigns. But that's just what I think about it. Let me know what you think at 360wrestlingpodcast.com or 360wrestlingpodcast at gmail.com. And the comment sections either here on Spreaker, on the YouTube channel, or wherever else you listen to podcasts at. If they have a comment section, or on Twitter at 360 Wrestling Pod and Instagram 360 Wrestling Podcast. And also from last night's Raw, also involving the Bloodline, well, some of the members of the Bloodline anyway, the Usos and Solo were in the ring with the Judgment Day. The Usos will be facing Finn Balor and Damian Priest next week on Raw 30 for the Undisputed Tag Team. Or I take that back, actually. The way they put it last night is it was only for the Raw Tag Team Championships, because they made the comment about bringing the red titles back to Monday nights. So I don't know if... I don't really see the Usos losing the titles next week, but if they do, I guess they changed their mind, because a little while back there were those reports about them maybe getting new tag team titles and just having one set. You can never tell. And next week, the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. Some of the legends I talked about. Ric Flair gonna be on. Shawn Michaels, Teddy Long, Ron Simmons, the Bella Twins, it's been a while actually. 2021 was the last time they did one of the Legends specials or reunion shows. I think I mentioned this last night. It will be interesting to see if there's any interaction between Ron Simmons and JBL, who is now in the corner with Baron Corbin. Wouldn't surprise me at all if what they do a lot of times on these Legends show, and they even did it a little while back with JBL, Baron Corbin, and the current roster, a poker game backstage. That's often what we get, especially since the APA will be there, both members, and I know they just did that one not too long ago, but wouldn't be surprised if they do that again. So hopefully Raw 30 will be a good show, but who knows, to be honest. And The Undertaker, don't know how I could have forgot to mention him. That's pretty silly. Kurt Angle, Road Dogg, and X-Pac. So I'm guessing a DX thing for that. And Jerry the King Lawler. So those are the list of legends. And of course, the Bloodline segment, like I mentioned a little bit ago, will probably feature Afrin Sika. That's what's in store for Raw 30 next week. And that was this episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you very much for tuning in, whether you're listening on Spreaker or any other podcast app or website. I appreciate you. Stay tuned for more episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and be back right here for another episode of GMWF. Hope everyone has a great day today. Until then, keep watching pro wrestling.